Hey, welcome to Games Vitae. My name is Majay. Today we are talking about my top 100 games of 2025. The list has gotten bigger since the last time I did this. Last time I did this was for 2023. And I didn't have 100 games on the list back then. I probably could have put 100 games on the list, but I just didn't feel like some of the games that I could have put on the list really necessarily deserved mention. It's not to say that they're bad games. It's just that if I'm going to put something in a top 100 list, I think it ought to be something that is a little bit more representative of what I do and play than just a side mention that I own the game. So before we get started, please like and subscribe, hit the notification button such that the upcoming days, I plan on doing a lot more content than I have done for quite a while. There's a lot I want to do with this channel, a lot of things I want to say on this channel. And that's going to be coming up in the upcoming days. But in the meantime, we're going to get things started with our top 100. Today, we're talking about numbers 100 through 91. So let's get started with the first one, which is Quest. Quest, this is the Avalon Big Box Edition. So I'm including Avalon and Quest as the same game. Quest is basically kind of like a slimmed down version of Avalon, but they're both very similar. It's social deduction, kind of trying to sway the vote in your favor to win the game, your team's favor. And there's hidden roles and things like that have various powers and abilities. When we played it, somebody says, "Oh, this is just like Secret Hitler," and I disagreed with him at the time. But I mean, the premise is pretty much the same. The biggest difference is the hidden roles. But it's fallen on my list a little bit. But that's simply because I'm not a huge party game person. And you're going to find a lot of party games at the bottom of this list. But the party games that I play, if I like it enough, I'm willing to give it another chance. I'm willing to mention it. So Quest is on the list because I think it requires the right situation, the right group, the right timing, and probably not the centerpiece of a game night. Maybe something as a great culminator and be ready on the teach, such that it's not an anticlimactic moment of the game night. So Quest Avalon is number 100. Number 99 is also a game that was on my list last time, and that is Dragonwood. Dragonwood is... It's something that gets pulled up by my family every now and then. It's not something I necessarily quickly pull off the shelf because generally I tend to like heavier games. But this is a dice rolling, set collection, boss battling, point totaling game that you can find it just about on any box store shelf, but it's a nice little game. It's an easy family game, and it breaks you out of that run of the mill roll and move type game. What you do is you roll dice to battle monsters and capture these monsters that give you points. But how many dice you can roll depends on the sets that you collect. And the sets also have to do with, what kind of monster you're dealing with. Is it going to be more vulnerable to strength? Is it going to be more vulnerable to just these different things? And it's not a heavy game, but it's an involved game enough that it would be engaging to any family. It would be very easy for it to hit the table. So that is Dragonwood. Number 98 is not here. I haven't played it in a while. It's in storage. And there are a few games on this list that are still in storage because I live in a small condo that I just don't have room for everything that I own. That is a subject for another time and another place. But the game is Othello, often called Reversi online because maybe Othello is trademarked. But Othello is an abstract game in which you are trying to get the majority of your pieces facing up. They're double-sided pieces such that if your color's facing up, that's your piece. And you flip the colors, or you flip the pieces to your color by surrounding them on opposite sides. It's a game that's old, and it's just a game that has some really unique strategy to it. But like most abstract games, it can start falling flat because it's samey. So I think if we had it here, it would probably suffer from the same fate that some of the other abstract games I have in the house, which are probably that I know aren't on the list, like Goblet or Rings. They're games, abstract games in their purest form, no theme at all, and it's just the mechanic put onto a board. And a lot of times those abstract games fall flat because it doesn't have a greater destination, a horizon to pass. That being said, Othello is fun. It's a great two-player game that gets you to think. It gets you off your phone. It gets you off, your doldrums, and it makes you think in new ways. And because of that, Othello is my number 98 game. Okay, next is there's a few games on this list that are from my childhood. There's a few games that aren't on my list that are from my childhood that I still like. But this one is something that I actually wonder if they could take this game to another level to bring it into the modern audience. And that is Inner Circle. Inner Circle is a very simple game that, in my opinion, was ahead of its time. You have these pieces that are sitting on top of spaces that have a number of dots. And when you pick up the piece, you can move your piece that many spaces in a row, in a straight line. And the goal is to get to these open spaces, and once you're there, you're safe for that round. And then you pick up the board, and everything that's on the board that didn't make it to a safe space is out. It's eliminated. So it's player elimination, it's logic, you keep doing that until you get to the bottom the inner sanctum, the single spot that's left. And I was thinking they could use this abstract mechanic in a modern setting. And I think that that's the case with a lot of these abstracts, that the other abstracts have been instituted as part of a greater scheme, like Mancala. Many people call it the Mancala mechanism. Why can't they do that with other things like Othello, or in this case, Inner Circle? I think this really lends itself to something like a dungeon crawler, and it's just something that I remember finding it in my game closet when I was a teenager in high school, and I don't know how we got it, but I thought to myself, I opened it up, read the rules, and we played it, and I loved it. And this is like one of those games that every now and then it hits the table, and it's very easy, very quick to play. You can still find it on the secondhand market. I see it all the time. I shouldn't say all the time, but I see it frequently enough to say, wow, if I wanted that game, I could get it, but I already have it. And anyway, Inner Circle it's just a really quick, fun family game. That is 97? Yeah, 97. So I'm looking at my list here. Okay, after 97, 96. Yes, 96 comes after 97, if we're going that direction. 96 is a game that I think was only produced in a very small release area, and I don't think you can get it anymore. If you can, correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody knows out there, but it's a local thing. It was produced by a religious publishing company, but the gameplay in and of itself is it stands on its own 2 feet, and that is Search, Ponder, and Play. Search, Ponder, and Play is this set collection tile layings, in a sense. It's they're not tiles, they're cards, but you lay them down like tiles, and you're trying to connect bits and pieces of cards of the same color. But there's Uno-like cards in there that like make you switch people's hands or switch people's objectives and things like that. And it's just a fun game, quick family game that plays with just enough chaos to make it interesting, but it's very easy to understand. And I like it. I don't anticipate getting rid of this anytime soon, just because it's a fun little play. So Search, Ponder, and Play. You don't have to be religious to enjoy this game. It's a great game. Okay, next is 95. This game was given to my wife and I when we first got married, and we played it and played it and played it. And it came with rules variants, and we played those. And it's something that is on my list. It may drop out of the top 100, but I'll never get rid of it, because it's one, it does get played. It's two, it's a quick teach and an easy play. Very light strategy game, not luck involved. And it's something that, like I said earlier, it's become known as a mechanism for other games, and that is Mancala. The box here is literally beat up to no end. It doesn't have ends on either of it, to the point where we have to keep the pieces in a Ziploc bag, because this will open and the pieces will fall everywhere. But Mancala is just this nice 2-player strategy game where you're picking up beads, and the number of beads you pick up determine how many bowls you can drop one bead in, and your goal is to get the most beads in your side of the board. These sides are called Mancalas. So if you end up with the most beads in your Mancala at the end of the game, you win. Very easy, very light strategy game that it gets you away from those simple chance games that are sometimes just a waste of time. Mancala is just an enjoyable 2-player game. That was number 95. Number 94. This is a new game to the list. This was not on the last list, and it is primarily a solo game. You can play it 2-player, but I've never done so. And that is Eiyo. Eiyo is this boss battling, card-driven game where you've got 4 rows of enemies with bosses at the end of each gauntlet that you have to go through. And you attack them based off these cards that you have. And the card has this little designation in the upper left-hand corner as to what areas, which row it attacks. Well, maybe you don't want to attack that row. You can rotate the card. My voice just broke. You can rotate the card by discarding a card for each time you rotate. And there's a key to that. You got to play your cards right. See what I did there? You got to play your cards right because you only get to go through the deck twice. And if you don't defeat all the bosses in that time, you lose. The art on this is amazing. It is beautiful, beautiful art. And it's a like I said, it's a solo game. I actually expect this game to go up on my list, even though it's a simpler game. I expect it to go up on the list because I think there's a lot to discover with regards to strategy. And yeah, maybe there's a little bit of luck of the draw in there as to what cards you get when and how you want to use them. But that's all part of the mitigation. And so that's part of the strategy itself. So Eiyo is number 94. Number 93, I don't own. So I don't have it here. It is a party game. And gosh, I even had it prepared on how to describe it, but I can't describe it well enough. I'll do my best. The party game is Wavelength. Wavelength is a great social interaction game where you have teams and you've got this dial that you set. The person that is in charge of the round is setting it, and they're trying to get their team to guess what they want based off of clues that you've given them. I'm probably slaughtering this because it's been a while since I played it, but I really liked that game. And I'm not a big party game person. That's probably why I don't own it. But if I were to buy a party game, Wavelength would probably be on the list. It's something that is, it's just a great social interaction game in which you are competing. It's not cooperative, and it's more than just a fun time. You've got an objective, and you can do things to influence your team getting the objective, and that's guessing the how close it is to the thing that you are trying to get. Like I said, I'm probably slaughtering the description of Wavelength, but it is a great party game, and I would endorse it if that's your jam. Okay, number 92, I also don't own. And I put it on here. I've played it, and it's actually out of print. And that game is Shadows over Camelot. Shadows over Camelot is a semi-cooperative game. I've only played it cooperative. I imagine the Hidden Trader changes things a lot. If anything, the Hidden Trader might actually, in some ways, help you win. And let me explain myself. You win by, you've got the round table. And when you accomplish a quest, you get to put a sword on the round table. And you have to get a majority of the swords done with so much of the table fulfilled before the firefighting element catches up to you and you lose the game. Well, we were playing and we were just knocking it out of the park. We were winning every quest, and there were no failures on the round table. All of them were victory swords. And we lost. And we were talking about it. And somebody said, if we had lost some of those quests, we would have had enough swords to win the game without the firefighting element, the accumulation of units on the board beating us. And it's made me think since then, what a life lesson that was. Sometimes we get discouraged on our failures, about how we're not living up to what we expect. Some made-up standard that we're not achieving. But you know what? Sometimes we need to fail. Even if we tried our best to succeed, sometimes we need to fail so that we can succeed down the road, so that we can learn the lessons that we need to learn to pass future tests. And these cooperative games are also not a huge thing of mine, but that life lesson made Shadows over Camelot make the list. That's number 92. Yeah, number 90. Was it 92? I can't read. Yeah, number 92. So, that's weird. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No. Yeah, that was 92. Okay. Everything under control. Okay, the last one for today is, it's a game that we played a lot when we first got it, but I don't think it's hit the table in some time, and it has definitely fallen on my list. Because it seems like, maybe we're playing it wrong, I don't know, but it seems like the strategy is just to always pick the highest numbered tile and try and make sure that you have a place to put it. And that is Kingdomino. They have an expansion to this. They have a companion game that can act as an expansion to this, Queendomino. They have a new one, Kingdomino Origins, which is, I don't know, it's like a revisitation of it. I'm not sure. But it was a Spiel des Jahres winner. And it was fun. But it's starting to lose a lot of luster for me. It's where you have these different terrain-like tiles. And sometimes that terrain takes up the whole tile. Sometimes it only takes up half the tile. And you get points for the number of crowns that you have on that type of terrain tile. How many areas you have of that tile times the number of crowns, if that makes any sense. So it's got some strategy to it, but it's got a little bit of luck as to what tiles come up when, and what turn order you, and which changes every time, because the tiles are put in a certain numerical order, and whoever picks the highest one, which are generally weaker tiles, will be first in the turn order in the next round. So it's kind of a tug and pull as to, all right, I'm going first this time so I can get a better pick next time. Well, maybe the tile next time isn't going to be good or not. So there's a push your luck element in that regard. But it's a game that I probably need to revisit, like I do some of the other games in my collection that weren't on this list, to see where they really stand. This is a game that it was fun when we played it, and I'd like to see if it's still fun if I played it again. So that is Kingdom. All right, that is the first top 10 of my 2025 list. The next ones will be 90 through 81. Please tune in for that. I will try and keep them coming a quick clip because I wanted to do this at the end of after 2025 had ended, because to me it's like, if the year hasn't ended, how can I rate all the games that I've played, because I'm not done playing them. And we played quite a few games over the Christmas holidays. So please lock in, subscribe to the channel so you know when these things are coming, hit the notification button, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.